Okay, we're starting turn one of Into the Wheatfield, the Downeasters Wall. You can see our turn track there. 445 is the first turn, and you can see a couple of dice there that bracket us in, showing what we're going to be doing. So let's move over to the board and talk about what's going on. So let's come over here, and I'll tip you down a little bit here and move you over. And I think I got to zoom you out. There we go. That's better. Okay. So with the sequence of play on here, first thing is going to be our initiative. What we do is roll two dice. Higher the two wins the initiative. They get the option to go first or not. In this case, I've already rolled that. We rolled a 7 for the Union, 9 for the Confederates. They rolled higher, so that they will get get the first turn. Now, there's some other things that can happen with the initiative, which I'll bring up when they happen. But for now, the Confederates have the initiative. All right. Now, first thing we need to do with this is figure out the brigade that's going to activate. Well, the Confederates only have one brigade. That's Anderson's, so it's going to make it pretty easy. So you're going to activate the whole brigade over here. Now that they're activated, we can figure out what's their orders. Now, to start the game, you can give orders to the units. And you can see here, Anderson has this engage order. And most of the other ones here for Detroit Brand, mispronounced in the first video, I apologize, and Burling have engage on here. Now, what's engage? That defines what the brigade can do for this particular turn. Now, in this particular case, engage allows us to do opportunity fire, take fire combat actions, free fire combat action, which actually gives us another combat action above our limit, move up to 3 move actions, and a reorganize action. Now, what are all those? You're probably saying if you haven't played the game before. Those are the different activities, the actions that can happen with individual units within a particular brigade/regiment. So those are the things that we can do, and they're restricted. If I show you with the different types of movement types, you can see assault is different from engage, which is different from defend and maneuver and regroup over here as well. So we'll go through them all as we progress with this. But Anderson's going to be engaging, so all of his units will be able to engage. Now we're not going to change our orders. We'll do that later potentially. So we go straight to the action step, and this is what we'll do in the action step now is pick regiments and have them take their actions that I just mentioned in terms of moving, firing, and other things. So with this, I think I'm going to start with the 59th Georgia. That is this stack, and this stack. This is a big regiment here. And essentially I'm going to have them just come right up and hit the 17th here. And with my other units over here, the 11th and the 8th and the 9th, they're going to drive up through here as well. Try to shoot through this gap that's been left in through here and try to drive a wedge between the 17th Maine, the rest of Detroit Brand's brigade, and shoot for the Stony Hill. Obviously, they're going to have to engage Burling, but I want to get there before the reinforcements that are just off the map over here can get into play and block Stony Hill, as well as reinforce the 17th at the Wheatfield. So that's the plan for Anderson's unit. So let's take the 59th. Now first I'm going to move them. I'm going to take their lead unit, that's the one with the flag. He's going to turn. That's going to cost 1 move action. All right. Oh, I should say they have a maximum of 3 actions that they can take in a given turn. Also, that can be adjusted, just as we saw with different kind of free combat actions, free move actions there as well. So he's got 3 actions. I'm going to use this dice to remember that for this particular unit. So he's going to turn for 1. Then he's going to move up into the woods here for 2. All right, now I will also remember too that this is going to potentially add some disruption to him, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. But before that, we have the 17th Maine just across the wall from him, and they can actually take a opportunity shot at them because Detroit Brand is engaged, which means they can take an opportunity fire. So that's what we're going to do. So we're going to get right into this. So what does that mean? That means we can take a shot at them. And the way that combat is, it's typical combat for American Civil War. And I'll try to show you everything here. So first off, we take a look at our range for them. Now they're at a range of 1, because it's just 1 square away. So they're going to be a point blank range, all right, which means they're going to have a 30% chance of hitting them. Okay, we're going to roll percentile dice eventually here. So 30% to do that. But there's some modifiers on here. We've got modifiers for the stone wall because they are behind the stone wall, and they're also in woods. So they're going to get minus 25. So that 30 all of a sudden becomes 5% chance. Now we also have the opportunity for plus factors on there for canister and then plunging fire. But you can see here we're both at the same level, so that there's no actual plunging fire on there as well. We can also add additional volleys, but we can't do that with the opportunity fire. We just have to shoot with this. So it's going to be a 5% chance to hit. And they don't get it. They roll a 70. So they miss. All right. So they moved up 1, or they turned for 1, moved up 1, and now they have 1 left. 1 action left. Now we can do one of 2 things here. And this is the interesting part. I could actually have them take a shot at them. Okay, that's legitimate. I could have them go for this hex up here just by moving up like that. Or they could stop and what they call redress, because when you're moving through rough terrain like woods or across streams, and they're on a stream right now, or across the stone wall, they are going to pick up what's called a disruption. That's this here. And this reduces their organization. Okay, basically there's detrimental for firing, detrimental for moving, and if you get too high, you're going to get stuck, basically. If we encounter that, I'll show you what that's all about. I don't want to get too into, rules and play, teaching you how to play the game. I want to actually get in playing it. So I think what I'm going to do is, because they're going to be there and they've got to kind of get the rest of these units up here, I think I'm going to stop him and redress. So his action turn is done. So they didn't accrue a disorder on there. So now we go to the next unit. And they too, it could be any one of these units at this point. These guys too have 3 points. There we go. And now these guys, because they're facing this way, I think I'm going to have them go up like this and